Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Gray Man Prepping. It's time for Survival Saturday. And tonight's topic is dun, 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 dun. After the fuel runs out, what are your plans now? And how's everybody doing out there? I hope you're doing good. Just had the grandsons leave about 10 minutes ago, so I'm catching my breath. Let's say hi to everyone that's in here and slide over here to the comments section. So first one in was Walt Rogers, just about 2 hours ago. He came in immediately after Shadow Scout Swedes live that I was broadcasting with earlier. Troop 1351 also came in at that time. Phelan Clan Wolf came in here a little while ago here. Aiden Ear is here. Crochet by Rose is here. So can I get an introduction to this channel, please? Yes, I'll give you an introduction here in just a second. Geeky Gardens is here. Aquatic News Network is here. Galen Strain, Aiden Ear. Lewis, it's the Marshmallow Man. Dave Knight. All right. For Crochet by Rose, this is about emergency preparedness, getting prepared things, getting ready for life. And on Saturdays, this year I'm doing what's called Events Explored. This event is after the fuel runs out, what are your plans? Some of these events are serious. A lot of them are kind of yeah, I really don't see that happening. And some are just downright just people put out whacked ideas, and so we explore them and say, is there any possibility of it? And the main thing is to build a community and get everybody trying to get themselves a little bit better prepared, ready for life in general. All righty, so let's, oops, I got more pop-ups popping over here, blocking stuff. Okay, so tonight's topic was one that was really big several years ago, and I explored it a little bit then. And everyone talks about, oh no, oil is fossil fuel. There's only so many dinosaurs that have died to make our fuel, which is total BS, because the fossil barrier only comes down this far, and oil is way down here in the thousands of feet down and stuff where it's not fossil fuel at all. And fossil fuel was a PR spin thing by some oil companies to make everybody think, oh, oil is a finite resource. It's running out. Well, scientists now know that the earth produces oil all the time, and it's just trying to find where it's being produced at. So so the oil is remade, is constantly being made under the oceans, under land masses, and everything else. And so this one's kind of a type topic, but it's there's other things to go on. So let's go over and take a look at here, and we'll see what I'm talking about here. Mike is here, UK Urban Prepper. Welcome. Mike, you want the link? I'll bring you up here. All right, so warning, possible fear porn Kool-Aid drinking zone ahead. Then again, maybe not. All right, so causes for fuel running out. There are several things that could cause fuel to run out. And Diana Q just came in. And so they're man-made on purpose, man-made neglect, and nature caused. All right, Mark. All right, Mike. Try to get a good night's sleep here if you happen to doze off here. All right, so man-made on purpose. What would man-made purpose be causes for fuel running out? Well, there's several of them. There's greed. Oh, we're just going to shut it down and pretend we're out of fuel till we can conveniently find more fuel and make everybody suffer and pay, 2 arms and a leg froze once we find it again. Another thing on purpose is in this day and age, we got terrorists, could target oil fields and stuff and oil tankers and everything and just, cause that sort of a problem. Other things on purpose could be people who don't understand the exact nature of it, trying to push a political agenda to get it banned, thinking, oh, we need to go do another way, just totally ban all fuel oils and stuff. So that's some of the things that could cause it on purpose. Neglect, again, greed. You could get, the greedy people trying to get all the money by and not spending the money on maintenance of all the infrastructure to make the fuel. The drilling rigs, the ships to transport it, oil to the refineries, to maintain the refineries, and they can have problems where the infrastructure falls apart because of neglect. What we got here? Military. Yes, there are reserves around for different things for military and emergency services. So the average person will lose the ability to get it before it's gone for everybody. And that's the thing, is they'll have limited supply. We've run out, but we're getting this limited supply so we can keep emergency services working. But and the military, but that's it. All right, I've seen several videos on it. Unfortunately, I don't have that high a degree, but basically, there is carbon throughout the soil down to the magma, and just the pressures and the movement of the tectonic plates and everything, and just it's like making diamonds. Carbon is compressed into diamonds. Carbon is compressed with other components to make crude oil. There is high sulfur crude oil. There's low sulfur crude oil called sweet oil. There's different types, and it's made with what's in that area, and that's how it works. That topic is something for someone above my my intellectual ability to teach it. But you can look it up. Look up some videos for it on how Earth continues to make oil. Yeah, all right, there you go. Perfect neglect. The pipeline sprung a leak because while it wasn't working while Captain Crazy was in office, and we weren't maintaining it, and when they started pumping oil through it, they missed the spot on their inspections. All right, so nature cause. Well, there's a lot of nature can stop the flow of oil and therefore the production of fuel, whether it's diesel, gasoline, whatever, through different storms. Hurricanes is one of the major ones that come to mind. We've lost oil rigs in the Gulf of America. That's on the shelf where most of the rigs are sitting anyways, and some that were farther out in the Gulf of Mexico. And hurricanes can damage the oil rigs. They can push them and break the flexible pipe for the pumping it out. They can make landfall and destroy refineries. They can hurricanes and rogue waves and other stuff like that can take oil ships down. Earthquakes can damage pipelines. So yeah, there are different nature disaster that can interrupt or halt temporarily the flow of oil and fuels. All righty. I guess Mark didn't get his phone charged up because Mark wanted to come up here and talk about the stuff too. His phone died in the last bit of the live stream with Shadow Scout Swede a couple hours ago. And I'm going to be talking about that here in a minute, Jay. Thank you for bringing it up, Jay. All right, so what are, let's go to the next page. So mitigation recovery. This is a standard for all things. Mitigation is ways to prevent it from happening. One is for maintenance on the lines and stuff, is stricter inspections and oversight. Stricter inspections on what is going to the profits of the oil companies to make sure that they're not, pulling things hinky and stuff like that. So there are different ways which the government can do mitigation onto the oil industry to make sure that they don't screw it up. As far as terrorists goes, that's what the Department of Homeland Security does, and to somewhat less, the Federal Bureau of Incompetence. And so, yeah, there's different things to look into to prevent those as well. Mother Nature is Mother Nature. To try to get Mother Nature to not damage stuff is the only way we can do that is to increase the resiliency of the infrastructure, the oil drilling rigs in the water, the oil drilling rigs on land, pipelines, and all that other fun stuff. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about other ways about generating electricity as well here. But just generating electricity will not offset the fuel stopping. Even if we were to try to go to total electric vehicles and stuff, it would take 30 years at least to get the infrastructure up to support electric vehicles. And then there's a problem with the batteries and all the nasty caustic chemicals in producing the electric vehicles as well. Let's see, Wayne Hunter, welcome. I'm missing stuff toxic. Okay. Yeah, another very good point of things that can cause it. And things is just trying to be more safe in our transportation and stuff as well. All right. Yeah, Mother Nature will always find a way to break something, especially when someone takes her beer and medication away from her. Line 5 through Michigan was built in 1953. Yeah. All right. Where's let's go down here. Yeah. All right. So, so for the most part, what we're going to worry about here is the fact that is to try to keep infrastructure working when the fuel stops, which means trucks, cars, and trains and stuff like that, and of course ships. So during World War I and World War II, a lot of the American farmers and some of the German farmers and stuff were using gasifiers to power their vehicles in. And so basically you take wood chips and stuff, and you got a fire going, you got air and pipe nozzles. This is kind of this is a drawing from a schematic view of the World War II invert gasifier. And so basically it heats up the wood chips, which is the fuel, gets it to vaporize into a gas. That gas is then collected, run through a tank here, which it's called a precipitating tank, and it does stuff with it, and then the gases run up through a cooler like a radiator to turn from hot gases into a cold gas. It's then run through a gas filter to take out. Sorry, I froze. It runs through a gas filter to take out impurities which would impact the engine running. And then it goes up and then it runs through a carburetor and into an engine and does stuff like that. That's one of the things to do. And now how they were using them all over the place. There are people nowadays making homemade gasifiers to run their vehicles in. And this is one that runs on a gasifier. 1995 Chevy pickup, I believe, from California. So yeah, and there are a lot more modern ones, and I will show you some of those here in the end here. But basically, that's the one for a gasifier to run on. Gasifiers do not burn as powerfully as gasoline engines. Okay, I'm just reading the chat. Okay. Could use compost system. Yes, that's another one. Several channels I know are looking into it for themselves to make methane gas collection as well. And we got at this on Mountain Man ran a truck on a wood gas. Yes. Exactly. It might not work on modern engines. So the older truck, or you have to do some modifications to modern engines to get them to work with the gasifier. But basically, the gasifier is pulled through the carburetor intake. So it may be just a simple thing of changing out the type of intake system on top of it to accept it. All right. Another thing to do is, and which is actually Toyota is, and the Caterpillar, Toyota, and I think Detroit Motors are working on engines that run on hydrogen. And even modern cars can be converted to hydrogen fairly easy, a lot easier than a gasifier. And like your compressed natural gas vehicles, those are really easy to convert over to run on hydrogen. And this is a hydrogen manufacturer, or a hydrogen generator, where you got voltage currents going into a cathode and I forget what the other one, electrode. And the current off the one will release hydrogen, off the other one will release oxygen. And so, yeah, it's a cathode and anode on them. And so the off the cathode, it releases the hydrogen, and the oxygen gets released off the other side. Now, this one is just showing collecting the hydrogen only, but they use this to produce both hydrogen and oxygen for currently today, this type system to manufacture oxygen. So it's easy, these things are in place right now to do it, but they're, doing it making it for other things like welding tanks, oxygen tanks for hospitals and stuff like that. All right. Right. There are videos on how to turn gas, how to turn oil to make gas and diesel. But basically, you create a cracking tower. A cracking tower basically superheats the oil, and the vapors as they cool going up the cracking tower gets pulled off for either gasoline, kerosene, diesel, and different other hydrocarbon uh, um, liquids and stuff, taken from a gas form back into the liquid. So you can make some of these things can be made simply to run off of solar panels at home. And if you're not driving your car that much, one of these running 24 hours a day will produce enough hydrogen for you to power your car to get to work, get home. You know, you can't go cruising around all the time. You're not going to be going, driving to the store, come back home, drive over to the gym, come back home, drive over here, come back home, drive to work, come back. Not you're going to be making a whole bunch of trips. You're just going to be making very essential trips only. And they do make conversion kits right now to run on regular internal combustion engines to run on hydrogen. The thing is, you have to change the timing on it. Instead of being like 3 degrees before top dead center, it's got to be 1 degree after top dead center, or something like that. Other options. Now we're getting to other options here, folks. Yeah. If the infrastructure doesn't get set up to, or you don't have the what's what I'm looking for? Not the availability, basically the access to the stuff to make either a gasifier or to make your own or buy your own hydrogen manufacturing generator at home. People are going to be going back to bicycles a lot. Jamie, you quit jumping ahead. Yes, I got horse and buggies coming up too. Oh, let's see. Back to this one here. Yeah, there are videos on how to turn used vegetable oil into biodiesel. So, and there's different things to basically you'd be cracking it to a different. You can get regular biodiesel out of it, and you can crack it to get a higher, not octane, but a higher energy producing version of diesel on it. But yeah, it takes time and it takes a bit of energy. So you need solar or the hydroelectric power to power these systems, which wouldn't be a bad thing in California to bring back all those hydroelectric plants they pulled out to, quote, protect the fish. And when they pulled them out, fish populations plummeted because they didn't have these nice big old reservoir ponds behind all those hydroelectric plants. All right. So you got bicycles here. And for those of us that are getting older, we're going to want something other than a bicycle. We want something to be able to maintain our balance. And for some mothers, they're going to want this with a trailer attached to it, so they can put the kids in a car seat here, mounted on the back of the tricycle. I couldn't find one of those pictures, but I've seen them before. And then they in the trailer behind it, they got what they carry, the groceries and stuff. And if you happen to have solar on your house, you can get an electric tricycle. They can charge it up off your solar, and you can put around a lot easier and a lot faster. And there's different styles on them too. This is also an electric assist trike. Yeah, that's why it takes time to process. And fortunately, turning certain types of vegetable oils into a diesel fuel usability substitute is not that far off, depending on the type of oil you're recycling. All right, so we got the tricycle here, and then we go old school, just like the Amish do. Go back to horses. For this, certain areas of the country are going to be better off and have easier access to horses. You also have pack horses with their the pack is called a planer, where you can tie all sorts of stuff on it and use to move stuff around. All right, so that's where I am now, and there was something else I was going to look up, and I can't remember what it was right now off the top of my head for you guys. I know a couple things I just looked for here. Bring this over here. I'm gonna look something up here specifically for Jay here, and that is making biodiesel. All right, here we go. There are videos out there on how to make biodiesel. There's also a methane biodigester, small scale biodigesters, they call some of them. I noticed that I did biodigester. I didn't want I want biodiesel. Biodiesel. There we go. So the methane one, biodigesters for methane, and there's ones on how to make biodiesel. And here's one, how to make it at home. So there are videos out there. They talk about how to do it, how to work it, and things to do it. One of the things I have heard time and time again is that biodiesel is a little more acidic or alkali. It's more corrosive one way or the other than normal diesel. And you have to replace the aluminum tubing, fuel tubing in your vehicles with stainless steel. All right, yeah. So you can do make biodiesel, different ways to do it. Different oils react differently. So it's good to know whether you have a canola oil, you have a corn oil, you have a blended oil that you're recycling to use. Now, I haven't been able to find it. Someone once told me, I've looked several times, I can't find a video on it, but supposedly you can take lard and or tallow and turn that into a diesel fuel as well by running it through the manufacturing process on it. Okay, I'm trying to remember what I'm going to go back up the chat here to see. I talked about that one. All right, I'm going to look up another thing here for you guys. Internal. To run on hydrogen. All right, there are different type stuff they're doing. Some are using hydrogen to run with gasoline to increase the power on it.
None of these are really showing the good ones here. They're getting to the bigger ones here for like to power your generators. But here is a video on Toyota's hydrogen combustion engine. All right, and some other videos on internal combustion engines and stuff. Let me see if I can get another one here. Convert a. There we go. Yeah, this one is how to convert your car to run on hydrogen. Yeah, you have to find the right one to do it. There's a lot of videos out there running their home generator on hydrogen. Yeah, here's the one on the engines, car engine and stuff. But yeah, now the other option on this. Oh, sorry, I didn't have it up here. Sorry, let me put it back up here. All right, there are videos here on it. How to convert your car to run on hydrogen. Gasoline to hydrogen power. Different videos on it, on the different things. Now, the other thing is on it here is a fuel cell. A fuel cell takes hydrogen, turns it into electricity, and like an internal combustion hydrogen engine, the byproduct is water. Not carbon dioxide, not carbon monoxide. There's no carbon in it. It's water. Ferocious. Hey, how's it going? Now, they have fuel cells that go in cars to make the car totally run on a fuel cell. No ion lithium batteries, no ion lithium phosphate batteries, none of that stuff. It runs strictly on a fuel cell like the space station does. Yeah, the thing is with the hydrogen on the Hindenburg, why it went up, one of its bladders, which was not steel, which was not any sort of reinforced material, it was just a rubber bladder, a thin wall rubber bladder, so it didn't weigh so much, and it got a tear in it. Now, the fire in the Hindenburg, the entire hydrogen fire was over in less than 2 seconds. All the rest of the fire you saw of everything burning up, that was the oil-based paint on the canvas burning. If the rest of the Hindenburg was not of combustible materials of the canvas and oil-based paint, after the fire would have been out, now it would have been held up by all this hot air, and the Hindenburg would have slowly sank to the ground. But just like the natural gas vehicles, let's see if I can bring that up. They have high impact resistant tanks for the natural gas. They use the exact same tanks to put the hydrogen in. Okay, we're going to need to switch up here. Okay. Images. Now, natural gas vehicles, to bring it up here. Basically, it's a fuel injection system on an internal combustion engine, and the fuel injection basically it's just a valve to on and off. It's a valve to control the flow of the hydrogen into the current. I mean the natural gas into the engine now. And some of them, like they'll have tanks back in the trunk. Some big trucks and stuff. Where the diesel tank was, it's now a compressed natural gas tank there. I'm looking for the ones that show for the other ones where it shows it's like a row of tanks about 8 to 10 inches diameter, side by side, underneath, like with the battery on an electric car to be underneath. That's where these tanks are at. I'm trying to see if it shows pictures of one of those things. Those are the big trucks. There's one car that has it in the back, but that's some of the other ones. So I know that some of the Ford pickups that were converted, they pulled where they had the big, huge tanks underneath, gasoline tanks. They pulled those down, cleared other spaces, and put these other tanks underneath the vehicle, and then inside the frame, and leaving a spot for the drive shaft to go through. But they're not showing the there's some in the bed again. Yeah, all right. This one has the tank goes up on. That's just the tanks. Where is the underbed hydrogen fuel tank? I mean, natural gas fuel tanks. And they just replaced these tanks with the hydrogen ones. Yeah, they're not showing them here now. I brought them up, a couple of years ago. I think they decided to make it less popular to how they work. Now, with the hydrogen gas for both electric fuel cell, they can odorize it. So you just like natural gas, you smell. There's a leak here. Hang on. All right, Mark, there you go. If you want to come up. Mark just got his phone charged back up. And that took a long time for you to charge your phone up. I mean, it takes me 45 minutes to charge mine from total dead. What were you doing on a bicycle, pedaling and charging it, Mike? I mean, Mark? All right. Hey.
Smart ass. Yeah, charge. I was using my little tiny solar panel. I was using one of those little solar panels on my patio lights, and it's a cloudy day, so leave me alone.
Let me I'm going to put something else up here.
No, I'm back on my computer. I'm back on my running this afternoon, which irritated me. Now it's up, so it needed to update, Microsoft to make sure my battery dies quicker. So what are we talking about? The processing of dihydrogen monoxide to make dihydrogen?
No, we're talking about taking the dihydrogen and turning it back into dihydrogen oxide. Hey, Lewis.
Hey.
All right, so I'm trying to search something to show where they're at. All right, so for hydrogen ones, vehicles, yeah, you can put it in the back, you can put it down on the bottoms, underneath it, they put the tanks underneath. Yeah, this is showing a little bit better. Tanks underneath, like in SUVs, underneath the seats and stuff. And the tanks they use for the hydrogen, because of the public paranoia over, it's hydrogen, it's much more explosive than natural gas. Not really, not that much. Aquatic News Network, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And so, the hydrogen tanks are supposedly being built stronger than the ones for natural gas. So they got their setups, they got their reinforcements and everything else on it. So, and of course, Toyota is being really pushing this because they want to be, because they figure, hey, we can make tons of hydrogen and not have to import oil, or not have to import as much oil. So yeah, Japan is really pushing on it.
Click on the link I just posted up there. It's for a company called Plug Power. They create hydrogen, put it in a fuel cell, and they're swappable for forklifts. They're upscaling it and stuff. It's pretty cool. I know they have big tanks in my town here at the Amazon place, because Amazon's one of their big customers, in Walmart.
What would be if you got a propane system, like a propane furnace or a propane stove, what would be the easiest way or the easiest thing to make that run again if the propane were to run out?
You'd have to ahead of time plan ahead, be a prepper, plan ahead. Contact the proper people, and you're going to need to get different jets, not jet nozzles, for the burners, and for the stoves, the ovens, the hot water heater, the furnace. You need to get different size jets for all those, so you can convert it to run on it. And I'm not sure if it's. I have to do more research on that to find out which one it is. I know it is. Supposedly, it is. It's a faster burning than natural gas, I believe, but I'm not sure if it's as fast and as hot as propane. So maybe something in between a natural gas and a propane nozzle, or you might be able to use the propane nozzle, or you might be able to use the natural gas nozzle. I'm not sure. All right, so I got this up here. Wrong one. So this is the
propane. Propane has a little more than double the BTUs of natural gas.
Yeah.
So your orifice is much smaller on a stove. If you're going from natural gas to propane, you got to put the orifice kit in there, make it smaller, or you'll have like a rocket ship in your kitchen.
Yeah. So there is an infrastructure for this. You guys, you want to go check this out if you're interested in it. There is a guy in Oregon or Washington. I think it's Oregon. He's a retired .com multi-millionaire guy. Got several big tanks, set up. I think it was 5 the last time I heard about it. And his whole house is covered with solar panels. His garage is covered with solar panels.
Oh, that's in New Jersey. I saw that guy's video.
Well, this one I knew about was the one years and years ago in Oregon.
Yeah, he has. Oh, in Oregon. Okay. They do solar panels. They use it to split the water and hydrolysis, and then he stores. But some of those he doesn't split it in some of the tanks. He uses it for torches. He leaves it as HHO.
Yeah,
which is highly explosive. That stays out in far field.
Yeah, that's a different guy. This guy here,
hydrogen is not explosive. That's everybody freaks out. Oh, it's a tank. Hydrogen's going to blow up. No, it's not. It needs oxygen. It'll just go whoop and burn once it gets some oxygen in there. Yeah. It won't burn by itself.
Yeah. So, anyways, he had 5 of the big propane tanks, brand new ones, and had it filled with his hydrogen. He also had his house set up like the old school campers where they run on propane wall lamps with the mantles in mantles in there, and he has an odorizer on it, and had his stoves hooked up for it, his furnace, everything. as well as having an electric furnace, he had the hydrogen heated furnace, and he could go either way he wanted on it. And he also had a heat pump installed, so he had 3 ways to heat his house besides the wood burning, besides the fireplace. But his cars were all hydrogen fuel cell powered, like the space station.
I'm surprised the government didn't come in and shut them down.
No, because it was all legal. He just went through and got it all done, got all the everything done on it. And so what he does is, when his tanks are all full, he stops producing hydrogen and sells electricity back to the grid. And he powers all his vehicles are hydrogen powered and all that other fun stuff. And his house has all on it. So it's basically using just a different fuel for old school travel trailers and stuff with the mantled stuff on it. I mean, even back in the I'm trying to think here around the time of Jack the Ripper time, where they had the gas powered street lights. Yeah, you guys go around, light you would turn it on and light the street lights, and in the morning to go along and turn them all off. A lot of the big in New York, Chicago, the hotels and stuff had gas lights in the hallways, because it was cheaper than electricity. And sometimes before they even had electricity plumbed in yet, wired in yet, they were plumbed for natural gas. How expensive are solar panels to set up? That is a wide-ranging answer, depending on the type of panels you want to get, the manufacturer, the voltage, the wattage. Yeah. I know on Amazon, I've been sticking to a 12-volt system for my stuff, because that's what I started out with, and I got 40 some odd panels that are 12 volt, and so I just add more 12-volt panels to it. Let me bring up Amazon here real quick, folks.
I heard from a channel I watch, he runs on straight solar panels. And he was talking one night for a decent system, the battery banks can cost up to $5,000 for a decent battery bank.
Yeah, depending on how, if you're powering your whole house, yeah.
Then that's what he's doing.
The problem with that is it also depends on the type of battery. There's like 4 different types of batteries you can use. And the output of the batteries, the watt hours of the batteries, and so there's a lot of things going into that. All right, so here's Rich Solar, which is highly recommended by several of the guys that do solar stuff I talked to. If you're going to do it yourself, $90 for a 100-watt panel. That's cheaper than the Renault, how can I pronounce it? Renogy, whatever. Renogy.
Yeah, Renogy.
Yeah. But it depends where you get your panels from. You can find a contractor that or a supplier that will sell, that usually sells to contractors, that'll sell you just because you want to upgrade your system. If they'll even sell to you, sometimes they want to see a professional guy do it. So it depends on how big of a system you want to set up too. So the thing is, what are your plans if the fuel stops flowing? What's your plans for your car? What's your plans for your house? What's your plans for whatever it is you need to do? You got to think about the plans, and the plans may just be rough drafts now. Just get something in line. As you get more concerned about it, as you see things happening, you may start working on those plans and start getting certain materials in place. What would one panel power?
A small
right,
rechargeable battery. Well, it depends on how big your panel is.
All right. This is the one I just showed here. The 100-watt 12-volt panel. It will charge up my 400-watt Goal Zero power station in about 4 hours. If 4 hours, if it's got full sun. It'll take all day to charge up my 1500-watt Kodiak power station. It'll take, and that's going out there. Sun comes up, tilting the panel, aiming at it, going a couple hours to track it. So I'm getting maximum on that one panel. CB's here. Woohoo! Hugo Homestead.
Yeah, the one guy I watch, and I'm not saying he's a solar panel expert or whatever, but he runs his whole thing off of there, and he's got a whole bunch of them. Only because he's one of those guys where if you do it once, you do it right, and you never have to spend money on it again, right? And he's got solar panels that will, because of the winter, and I can't remember where he's somewhere in the States, but he's got, because of the sun, right? Like you said, less sun, more sun. And he planned for that, and then he still has to use his generator.
You can permanently mount your panels.
Like in the winter,
in the winter you got to aim your panels down. Depends on how far north you are.
Yeah,
but there's guides out there for where are you at? Your panels just need to aim dead south. Period. And it'll pick up the morning sun at an angle, pick up high noon sun, but your angle of deflection or absorption, you got to tilt the panels back during summertime when the sun is higher. You got to tilt them down when the sun is lower. And it's like 3 times a year you move, or 4 times a year you move your panel around to make sure you get the maximum, unless you want to spend a ton of money with sun trackers, which they use their own amount of electricity just to track the sun.
Well, the sun trackers basically just siphon off a little bit, and basically it goes. It has the photocells that it tracks the sun. It goes, and then the amount it uses to move is insignificant. And it just because basically it's using linear actuators, and it basically traces it this way, it tilts this way on it, and so it can track it. And basically with those, you get 100% maximum all during the day, so you need less panels.
There's a dentist office in my town here that put up 2 of the ones that are on the 3-dimensional rotator tracker. And the bad news is when the sun goes behind clouds and that, all of a sudden these things will rotate to wherever it thinks the sun's is, and they're only on a single post. So if it's a high wind, you might want. I think you lost one of them last time we had a big storm around here.
Yeah, one of the things too is on those, you want to get the bonus controller for it for winter lockdown, and it basically it changes angles and stuff so that it is at an angle where the high winds and stuff, it's not out there trying to track during high winds. It locks down into a position where it's rigid and has locking mechanism on it to hold it rigid against winds and stuff. That's why you have batteries that will last you 2 days or 3 days. Because even in a locked position, when the sun comes up, it's going to charge a bit.
I remember you saying having a solar panel guy up, and I can't remember if you said that you can have like a whole bunch of solar panels hooked up to it, and when so the solar panels, like if the gas runs out and you can't use a generator to charge in winters, you can have like a whole bunch more, like prepare for more solar panels for the winter, right?
Yeah.
Because I know up here in Canada, I see a few solar powered places, right, for their barns or whatever, and they got 3 times the amount of solar panels than this guy's got in the states that I watch periodically, right?
Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can get to go to Ben's channel here. Come on. There we go. All right. Trying to find one here. All right. He put out a video 4 days ago for those that are interested. Let me bring up. So this is what his homepage looks like. So the entire house budget solar generator showdown. And he took 6 different solar generators and of the, for run the whole house, and ran, parameters, watts produced per against the amount it cost to do it, which one produced a function the best, did this, and he went through the whole thing for, it's a 18-minute video. And the winner had the drawback of its input, solar input was 90 to 160 volts. That's what's input accepted. So you would have to go to your solar panels would have to be set up to produce at least 90 volts or 120 volts, because you are 130 panels. You can get panels that are 48 volt panels, and that's what he said he did. And so he had 3 48 volt panels, so 3 times 48, 120, 148 volts doing it, and it'll take up to, I don't know how many thousand watts for it. But there's different ones you can do. The one he came out with yesterday showed battery pack right there. That is a battery pack. It's got tracks on it. It has a hitch on it. It pulls that trailer behind it. It's for industrial use, movie sets where they can't have a regular generator running and they need a boatload of power. And out on farms where they need to go out and do some welding and stuff, and they don't want to have all the noise and stuff, and they, this thing here will pull that trailer around, which I forget how much power it produces. But there's Lewis coming back in. Let me remove the old one. There we go. And so there are systems out there. They cost money, but the one that was the best bang for the buck for your house was the Walrus R3 something or other like that. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, and he has whole videos on it as well. He did the Anchor, or the Walrus G3, and that's the one that won. But the Anchor something or other came in a tight second on it.
I educated a bunch of these kids walking around trying to sell the solar panels for your roof. They pay for themselves. I spent about 20 minutes with my neighbor and these 2 kids that were young and educate. I pulled up their own website. I said, let's go to the frequently asked questions. Can I directly use the power from the solar panels for my house? Answer, no. It goes through a separate meter back to the grid, and they give you a percentage of the money that it might generate, and they'll knock that off your power bill. So your power bill never changed. Basically, they're renting your roof for free.
Yeah. To
generate power for them to make money on their smart meter. And that was the other thing. They're like, oh, yeah, we put a smart meter on your house. I was like, no, you don't. You ain't putting anything on my house, but no.
Yeah. So Mother Earth, for the solar systems for your house, it's like that's what I like about I built my own battery bank for it. Bought my own inverter, charge controllers. I just set it up so I can add more panels to it. I get to a certain amount of panels, then I got to use a separate charge controller and start hooking those to those panels. And I can add one panel this month. I can wait several months, add another panel, whatever I need to do. I just, I don't have to buy the big system all at once. I can just do it like the Johnny Cash song. I did it one piece at a time.
Yeah.
About building the car. And so anyways, it's one of those things that just, you can just do a little bit at a time and to help do it. But as far as the fuel running out and cars going, if you're going to, if you have a solar system on your house already, like Lee at Cold War Prepper, he can hook up a hydrogen production generator to it and power and make hydrogen. And then if he gets gets the electric fuel cell for an electric vehicle, not a battery powered one, he's cruising on it. And he said he overbuilt his system for his house, so he's always selling stuff back to the grid.
Hey, did you happen to go over wood gasifiers for your vehicle?
Yes, right at the beginning.
All right, I'll play the replay.
Now, for the gasifiers, folks, you can go to FEMA's archive and you can download PDF plans for building gasifiers. Gasifiers that were used on farm tractors, farm trucks, pickup trucks, flatbed trucks, and stuff like that. So you can do that. Oh, that's what I was going to bring up for you guys. I just remembered. A gasify powered generator. Let's see if it shows up the big one here. Come on. I want images. There we go. Okay. Here we go. There are some gasifiers out there that were being sold at, now this is the homemade one. There's a commercially built one. There's just a gasifier. Come on, where's the one? There was one that they were selling that was set up as a unit, and they had it at one of the expo shows, and several people did videos on it. And it's the generator and the gasifier all set up, hooked up together to power the generator. Well, here's one being hooked up to a separate generator. The other one they were showing was all on one pallet. It was all one unit. And so, yeah, so there are videos here and images and stuff on gasifiers to run to power a generator to power your house. So, yeah.
Yeah, having a few extra batteries for your house and that is always a good extra idea, so that you can always have something charging, something used, something already charged.
Yeah, if you're on a power station, yeah, to extra batteries for your power station. But Ben Gilmore, he changed his channel name from Minuteman Prep to Minuteman Solar. To do, you get to a point where it's cheaper to put on more panels than it is to put on another battery. Because if you have a type of power station that allows it to charge and discharge at the same time, then you have it what's called over paneling, which means it's maxed out to the so at the low input time of the day, it's doing full input, and it automatically cuts off power to panels so that it doesn't burn out. The charge controller goes, nope, no, we're not going to take power from you, until it maxes out its system all day long, and it has enough to charge it up for to last all night, and still leave you with 25% capacity in the morning, and still charge it up to full before the day's over with. So I think he said like about you want to be able to charge up to full by 2 o'clock. So if there are clouds and stuff, even if it's cloudy, it'll still charge, but not as optimally. So there's a bunch of ways to do it.
Hey, with the gasifier, isn't the byproduct biochar or charcoal?
No. No. Yeah. It depends how efficiently it does. If it totally, if the gasifier is working totally to the most efficiency, there's practically nothing but ash left over.
Okay.
Now, if you're using one that's not, it's just homemade cobbled together, yeah, you'll wind up with a bunch of possible biochar and stuff at the bottom. But that's actually what good ones prefer to run on that, because once it's to the biochar charcoal stage, there's less impurities given off afterwards.
Right. Well, you can always use the ash to make soap.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. I'm going to save this here. Save image as. I'll just save it there. Or I'm going to blow this one image up here for you guys so you can see. This is pretty good. So this one, you got a biochar generator, a wood gas generator, and you can buy this in section. Two things: you get the gas cooler, a gas filter, and from the filter it plugs into the multi-fuel connection for natural gas or propane on the generator. But you can use the wood generator, or you can use a biochar generator to produce the wood gas that's going to power it.
I bet that costs a few pennies.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I hear the sirens.
Oh my God, you can actually hear that? It's like way off in the distance.
We hear that really loud.
Wow.
We thought they were pulling into your driveway.
No, they're actually about 1.5 miles away over on one of the main highways.
All right. Having just regular wood for heat, hot water, cooking, and etc. is one option to getting by without the fuel. One of the things that, in my mind, should be looked at, and screw the environmentalists, or I should say the fish hugger environmentalists, put more hydroelectric dams in. That is the cleanest energy available is hydroelectric, because all the parts are recyclable, and it's cheap to manufacture, cheap to put together and do.
Oop, I'll be right back. My my roasting Brussels sprouts should be done.
Yeah. If California restored all their hydroelectric plants that they yanked out to satisfy the fish huggers, the fishing would be a lot better, because it dropped off dramatically, and they had massive downfall of fish because it didn't do what the fish huggers claimed it was going to do by yanking out all these mini dams. But the power production would put a lot more power into the grid than what they're doing now.
Yeah, it'd be a lot better than those windmills.
Oh yeah, the windmill blades are non-recyclable. Well, a company's trying to figure out a way to recycle them, but their recycling process, and what I saw on it, is like that's still leaving toxicity crap out there. So, anyways, but for us as individuals, what can we do for when the power goes out? If you have, let me get rid of this here. If you have your own property, and if the wind blows in your area, you can get a vertical coil, helicoil generator. They are cost per watt more efficient than the big windmills, but they're in smaller packages. And you get a couple of those, so you can always have power for your house. You can, what you do with that power is up to you. You can do get an electric vehicle and charge it up with that. You can use it to create hydrogen and then get a hydrogen powered vehicle, whether it's internal combustion hydrogen or fuel cell hydrogen producer, for like on a space shuttle. It's not space shuttle. It's actually they use the one on the space shuttle too, but for the space station. Oh, the one thing I didn't talk about. Oh, dummy me. There's one thing I didn't talk about. Back when they did prohibition, guess what? One of the reasons why the government decided to do prohibition was
people were burning alcohol in their cars.
Yep.
Not buying the gas. Whoops.
Well, they were buying gas, but they were thinning it down with alcohol they were making from their food scraps and all the other stuff. Every other way of making alcohol. They were making alcohol, and the oil companies were getting pissed. So they made alcohol production illegal.
So now instead we the government, the government, our money, we subsidize corn growers to turn it into methanol to mix with your fuel to give it a lower BTU rating. My daughter, I think I mentioned this probably a year ago on your channel. My daughter did a study on it that 100% gasoline, and that's what the MPG is rated on. If you read the fine print on all these cars, 50 miles per gallon, it lowers the MPG, it lowers the BTUs, and actually makes it worthless. So if, like, say 100 gallons of gas will get you 100 miles, add 10% of fuel of ethanol to it. Now you have 90 gallons of gas. Guess what? You're still only going 90 miles. You need to fill up one more time to go that extra 10 miles. So it doesn't do anything. It's just some subsidy, whatever. I can come up with a million adjectives for that. It's a scam.
And because of the way that the ethanol is done, it's not an alcohol racer levels of combustion.
No,
it's
crap.
Yeah. Plus it dissolves small engine plastic carburetors.
Yes. And ruins fuel lines in older vehicles. Just like when they took the lead out of the gas, your valve seats are bad. Yeah.
So, if you have a way to produce electricity, how you use that electricity is totally up to you. And if you can do a biodigester to produce methane, to run your vehicle on methane, that'll help you out. If you produce the electricity, you got like a golf carts and stuff that you can charge up to get around in, or those little small mini electric vehicles that are, rated for a top speed of 35 miles an hour.
That's one thing. You could generate it for your e-bike.
Mm-hmm. Well, I showed those too.
Yeah.
So those that came in late, let me throw this back up here real quick. So this is stuff I showed here real quick here.
Yeah, you just got to figure out how to store methane, because that's not a.
Yeah, you can store just like natural gas or like hydrogen. You just, once you collect it, you compress it and store it.
Yeah,
you can't store it as high of pressure though. Right. So here's your a simple gasifier from World War II. Here's a modern version of it. Someone put in the back of his 1995 Chevy pickup. Hydrogen manufacturing generator, also an oxygen manufacturing generator as well. And here's a different design show on it. You can look it up. Bicycles is an option. You're older like me. You don't want a bicycle. You want a tricycle for balance.
Yeah, you can put some weight in the back like your generator.
Or groceries. Or get the little trailer for it. Now you can get the trailer. You can put two grandsons in it, or put get the tandem tricycle where two people are on it, and you tow a trailer with stuff in it. Or you get the electric trike. That is it's electric and pedal. I like this one better because it's got a basket.
Yeah, wider stance and
Yeah. But
I remember I was getting into the HHO where they separate. Well, they don't separate. They separate the hydrogen and oxygen from the water, but it goes into a single tank, highly explosive. And I'm watching guys trying to run it on a lawnmower, and I'm laughing the whole time. Like I tried to run on a lawnmower, and the lawnmower just backfires and shuts down and won't make any power. I'm like, yeah, that's because your timing's off.
Yeah.
Hydrogen explodes almost instantaneously. Gasoline, in retrospect, is like a slow burn. So you have to compress the explosion before it gives you the most power. You got to physically change the valve timing and the ignition timing on your lawnmower to make it run right, and then it'll run away from you. Because it doesn't take much in lieu of gasoline to explode and do that, but it's also very dangerous.
Yeah. All right. Then there's the throwback to the horse and the Amish. Then there is the cowboy way with the pack horses with the planers on there to put your stuff on it. If you are able to get a horse.
Wait, are those hydrogen powered horses or methane?
No, those are methane producing horses.
That's them damn greenhouse gas emitting horses. That's it.
I wonder now. If you hooked up a hose to the horses or cows' butts and made a tank, you could run stuff off of that.
No. Here's the thing with cows. Cows do fart a little bit. Most of the stuff they do is belching because they are ruminous. I can't pronounce the word.
Three stomachs. Yeah.
Four stomachs. Yeah, multiple stomachs. So basically, when the animal eats the grass, they're not doing the grass. They're doing the bacteria on the grass, and so basically, their stomachs are a bacteria farm, and they produce a lot of bacteria that goes from one stomach to the next one to that next one, and they eat off the bacteria to do everything they need. Some of the belching that comes out of them actually negates certain types of methane gases and stuff. Basically it's nature saying, "Oh no, I'm going to fix this, and we're not going to go have a runaway here. It produces it and also produces the anti." And so basically you're winding up with a net zero on it. And then of course the poo that hits the ground but it keeps biodigesting and does certain things as well as it as well. So yeah. Hey, simply, we're just getting ready to wrap it up here. So, yeah, I hope gave you some ideas of what you can think about for possible doing if the fuel should stop flowing. Now, the other thing, like I mentioned in the beginning, oil is not a fossil fuel. That is a BS spin doctor prop thing put out to make people think, we only got so much of it because all the dinosaurs gave their lives to make our fuel. No, dinosaurs did not give any lives. Plants did not give any life to make oil.
No, the earth makes oil faster than water. Yeah.
Yeah. And the oil comes from a lower level than what the fossils are at. So, yeah. Anyways.
But good luck making anybody believe that these days, although it's getting easier.
Yeah. All right, here, let me go over here and all right. Tammy Harder says lurking. All righty, so coming up here. Let's get the right one up here, schedule up here. All right, on my other channel, Camp Patton Family Compound. And for those that don't know what that is, it's where's my thing? Where's my thing here? take it out, get rid of it. There we go. Here's my other channel, Camp Patton Family Compound. Lives are on Mondays and Fridays over there. So Monday is we got Mark's coming in and Tammy from Rebel Canners, and we're going to be discussing making tinctures and other infusions. Tuesday back here on Gray Man Prepping for Tactical. For Tactical Tuesday is why you need a computer in SHTF/Twaki. Thursday night on Gray Man Prepping is the Midnight Ride. That is the only one that's later. Everything else here is 8 o'clock Eastern Time. The Midnight Ride is 10 o'clock Eastern Time. For those that are new to this, the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere did not start at midnight. It started at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Okay. Friday night on Camp Patton is linseed oil, pros and cons. We're going to talk about using it on cutting boards, on wooden utensils, on hoe handles, shovels, anything you want, anything wood you want to preserve. So we'll be talking about that on Friday. Next Saturday, I don't think that has Joran put out the topic for his live stream on Saturday yet? Have you seen that, Mark?
I don't know.
I didn't see it. So most likely we'll be doing streaming 4 hours with Shadow Scout Swede, and then the Survival Saturday event we're going to explore is, and we got to be careful on this one, folks. After the medicines are gone, what are your plans? And we cannot and will not be giving out any medical advice. We're just going to be talking about what are your plans? All right. And that's what's coming up for the next week here. So with that, everyone, remember, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps: water, food, medicine, clothing. Learn a new skill every month, preferably something that'll make you more valuable in SHTF or Twaki, or something you can use to make extra money now. And grow a garden. If you're growing a garden, make it bigger. All right, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you Monday on Camp Patton Family Compound.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
And LC